Have you ever had a great idea but hesitated to do anything with it because it wasn't fully formed or perfect? In this video, we're talking about what to do with an imperfect idea and start taking action. I was on my morning walk the other day, and it was just one of those days where there were just so many ideas floating through my head. And when I'm on my walks, I really use it as a time of reflection and thinking about ideas or questions that I'm considering or challenges that I might be going through. And so I'm constantly on my notes app. And one of the things I wrote down was ideas don't come out fully formed. And it's something I think about often because when I meet people and I'm talking to them about their dreams and their creative pursuits, everyone has ideas. You have a lot of ideas, right? We don't ever run out of ideas. There's a lot of ideas that maybe you have around a business you want to pursue or a creative endeavor that you've been thinking about. Maybe it's a podcast or writing a book or gardening or whatever you're curious about or whatever really lights you up. And we have these ideas, and oftentimes what I find is that people don't take action on that idea because of perfectionism, because they think, oh, well, I'm not sure how to get started or if this would even work or is this even a good idea at all. So we kind of talk ourselves out of ideas and starting on a project that might be one of the most meaningful things you ever do. And so I wanted to share 3 things to consider if you have an idea and it's not fully formed yet. It's not perfect. And you're thinking about taking action on it, but you haven't yet. So I want to give you these 3 things to consider to hopefully help you move forward in the direction of your dream. Number 1, accept your ideas will never be perfect. They don't start perfectly and they don't end perfectly. There's no such thing as perfect anyway. And yet, in our minds, we still are so attached to wanting whatever it is that we start creating to be perfect. Writers know this really well. Of all the writers that I studied, the one constant that I kept hearing is you have to get out the horrible first draft. Now, different writers called it different things, but it was essentially you have to sit down and get messy and write a horrible first draft. It's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be the fully baked idea that you have in your head. And also, whatever is in your head, that perfect creation, it's going to take some time to get there. And the only way to get there is by actually doing the work. So for writers, that means you have to sit down and write. You have to write all of the horrible first draft and all the ideas and get it all out on paper. And some of those words are going to fit and you're going to use them and you're going to go off of those ideas. And then some things you're going to realize, oh, this is a throwaway. This doesn't make sense. This isn't any good. And so this is what you get to do as part of your work. It's the same thing in business, right? People that start a business, you have an idea. And I often wonder how many entrepreneurs might not have started had they known how much work it was going to take in order to create what they wanted to create. It's almost like it's kind of good to not know some of the things that we have to go through in order to become the person that we need to become in order to fulfill our creative work and to do the work that is meant for us. Number 2, give yourself permission to play. When we have a new idea, it's fun. Maybe it's something that you've thought about for a while and it keeps showing up. Well, have you allowed yourself to have fun with it? And having fun with it means that you're open to doing the work. So, for example, I was just on a call with a friend of mine, and he was telling me he's been contemplating starting a YouTube channel, but he stops himself every time because he is thinking about a year from now, 3 years from now, what's that going to look like? I don't have the right video equipment. I don't have the right lighting. He's just thinking through all of the ideas of what it's going to take and what he's going to need to be doing. And that's great and wonderful. You can think about those things. However, he hasn't even started a video. He hasn't even done one video. He hasn't even come up with, hey, what do I want this channel to be about? And what are my videos going to be? And like, that's the fun part. The fun part is, okay, I want to start a YouTube channel. What does that look like? What does that mean? What are the videos I'm going to do? Am I going to do interview style things? Am I going to talk about food or exercise or fitness or books or whatever the topic is. And this is when we allow ourselves to play. We play around with creating. I love when I get to work with entrepreneurs and business owners, and they're playing around with different offerings for their clients because they're recognizing, oh, wow, as I'm working more and more with our clients, we're really seeing that there's a need and we can fulfill that need. So they're moving in different directions. They're giving themselves a little bit of space to see what works, to see what doesn't. In advertising and marketing your business, it's the same thing. You get to see what resonates with people. And when we allow ourselves to look at it from a standpoint of play, it not only becomes more fun, but it also fuels our creativity. It helps us start noticing what we might not have otherwise noticed. Number 3, be attached to the process instead of the outcome. This helps us stay in that state of play because we're focused on the work that needs to get done instead of only focusing on this is how it has to look, this is how it has to be. When we're so focused on what it has to look like, we're missing so many opportunities. We're missing different directions we might be able to take. We might be missing some key collaborators or people that we could have met if we went in a different direction. If we just allowed ourselves a little bit more flexibility, a little bit more flow. And that's what I love about the creative process is that it's up to you. You get to decide the direction that you're going to go, what you're going to work on, how you're going to share that work with the world. It's so interesting. It's all your choices and your decisions. And it becomes more fun. And you also feel like you're making a lot more progress when you're focused on the process instead of the outcome. It's so funny because as I was thinking through all of these concepts and ideas, I opened one of my favorite books, The Creative Act by Rick Rubin, and I flipped through to this one page. And I think this really speaks beautifully to what we're talking about. If we can tune into the idea of making things and sharing them without being attached to the outcome, the work is more likely to arrive in its truest form. This is so true. It's allowing us to go through what we need to go through in order to create the new experiences, the new ideas, the new skills that we need in order to create the work that we desperately want to create. So there you have it. If you have an imperfect idea, if there is something that you've been wanting to work on or start and you just haven't given yourself permission because it's not fully formed and it's not perfect, I hope this is your sign to realize it's never going to be fully formed. It's never going to be perfect. We just have to start. We just have to start, enjoy the journey, enjoy the process, take those small little steps every single day to uncover what you need to uncover, to make that idea happen, to put it out into the world, to create what you are meant to create. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this video helpful. And if you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, I invite you to do so for more content to help your personal and professional growth.